Hi, Kevin Wright here, back with another property finance tip. So what are we going to be talking about this week? Well, we're going to be talking about mortgages and the three distinct different types of mortgage lender that's available to you and why you're almost certainly never going to be able to borrow from all three at the same time. And it's going to depend where you are in your property career. So if you want to find out which lender's best suited for where you are right now, keep watching. So, three types of property lender. Let me tell you what they are. Buy-to-let lenders, commercial lenders, and the third category is what I call specialist or hybrid lenders. So, let's look at what each of those three represents. So buy-to-let lenders are the standard, you could call them the vanilla type of lender that most people start off borrowing from. So they're at, let's say, one end of the spectrum. If you go right the way up the other end of the spectrum, you've got commercial lenders. Now, they tend to lend to experienced, possibly full-time landlords, and they tend to lend on a much wider range of properties. And in between the two, you've got what I call specialist or hybrid lenders. They're not really buy-to-let lenders because they do stuff and they lend on stuff that buy-to-let lenders won't lend on. For example, like HMOs. But they're not really commercial lenders either because they're not going to lend on commercial properties or some commercial leases. So they sit between the two. So how does this affect you? Well, it depends where you are in the cycle. So let's just take it if you're just starting out in property. You've never owned a rental property before, you've never been a landlord, okay? But you're employed or self-employed and you have an income. So buy-to-let lenders think you're quite attractive. As long as your credit's okay and maybe you've got an income threshold to hit. But generally speaking, they're happy to lend to inexperienced first-time landlords. Mostly doing single lets, but with a little bit of tolerance on a few buy-to-let lenders that'll lend you typically up to 4 tenants. So no experience as a landlord, buy-to-let lenders. Yeah, they're pretty happy with that. Go up the other end of the scale, commercial lenders will never lend to you. Commercial lenders don't lend to inexperienced landlord. If you haven't got, usually at least 12 months, but in some lenders up to 3 years, experience as a landlord, no, they're not interested. So you start off being very attractive to buy-to-let lenders, but very unattractive to commercial lenders. And the lot in the middle, the hybrids and the specialists, well, limited appeal to those. Some of those are going to say, no, we want you to have some experience as a landlord. So this sort of area is shrunk right down. So as you progress, what happens? So if you're a bit further along, you're no longer a beginner, you're what I like to call beyond beginner, then where do you sit? Well, if you've still got some sort of external employment from property, either part-time or full-time, either self-employed or employed, then you're still going to be attractive to some of the buy-to-let lenders. But the more properties you acquire, the less they're going to like lending to you because now you're becoming a bit too big, and that they see perversely. A lot of people don't get this, but hey, it's their money, so it's their logic that counts. So the more properties you got, they start to feel more uncomfortable. And how many more? Well, it varies lender to lender. With some lenders, it's 3 or 4 or more. And with some lenders, it's 10 or more. So it's going to vary with different lenders. So, but as you get less attractive to the buy-to-let lenders, you get more attractive to the specialist lenders, and you get more attractive to the commercial lenders. Now, as your property career grows, and possibly when you go full-time in property, now the lenders that loved you when you first started off in property now hate you because you're too big or you're too full-time in property, and that's not their target market. They don't want to lend to full-time landlords. So it's the whole thing switches around, particularly when you become full-time in property, or particularly when you start buying mixed use or commercial properties, or indeed residential properties with commercial leases on them. You're now quite a long way away from what buy-to-let lenders like to lend on, but you're now sitting quite comfortably in what commercial lenders like to lend on. And the hybrid lenders in the middle, they still like to lend to you as well. So you've got a big transition really, and everyone goes through it really. If you progress and you build a substantial property career that sustains you either full-time or as a very good part-time income, you're going to go through this transition. You're going to start off being attractive to buy-to-let lenders, unattractive to commercial lenders, but that switches itself round as your career progresses. So it's important to know that you're not going to appeal to all lenders all of the time, but you're going to appeal predominantly to one group of lenders, one group of those three groups of lenders, more than the others at any given time. And as long as you understand the progression and the way that your property career progresses and who you need to look for lending, you're going to be okay. You know, you'll never run out of lenders. As long as you keep your credit history good, you're going to always be able to finance properties and mortgages. You know, and I see people posting on Facebook groups or wherever saying, oh, what's going to happen when I can't get mortgages anymore? Well, there are commercial landlords with literally hundreds of mortgage properties, so you're never going to be in a position where you can't get mortgages. You just won't be able to get them from the same lender. That's my little tip for this week. Now, if you've liked this, and hey, haven't you subscribed yet? Why not? Because I come out with these videos on a weekly basis. So if you're enjoying this one, you're probably going to join some of the others. So hit that subscribe button and that little dingly belly thing that'll give you a ping on your phone whenever a new video's released. And hey, don't nip off quite yet, because I've got something else that might interest you. So hang around for that. If you enjoyed watching this video, did you know every Monday morning at 8:30, I do a live Facebook Q&A. So if you want to start the week with checking out some answers to your property finance questions, click the link here.